Hello, homeschoolers. Back by popular demand, we are here to discuss 7th and 8th grade pieced together curriculum. We have been homeschooling almost 6 years. We have never used a boxed curriculum. We always piece together what we want based on the style and grade level for our daughter. So we are going to go over each subject of what we use. She will be technically in public school 7th grade next year, but she will be doing 8th grade work, some a little higher, some maybe a little lower, depending on the time period of the year. And we do add more books mid-year. Usually in January we add some more books, and I will add them to the text list when I do that. So watch for updates. Okay, so first we are going to discuss English or the language arts. Primarily we do use the Spectrum books for language arts, and these are the areas that it covers. She will also do writing and research papers, things like that. This year we're trying a new book we haven't tried before. This is a Common Core-based book. Don't be scared. That just means that this is the same thing a lot of the other kids are learning. But we're going to try it because this one does come with some online video explanations. So it's something just a little bit different. And I love English and language arts, so we do a lot of it. And then she will be doing a new brand of vocabulary book this year. In the past, we've done the vocabulary that's 240 words, I think, or the Spectrum vocabulary, but this is a new one, and this one is grade level 9, so it's a little more advanced, but it still looks pretty similar. And then we do have the Everything You Need to Know books for every subject. This book we use really as a reference guide, just in case we need additional information on a particular subject. She enjoys reading the history and science ones, but the English and math we'll use more as just a reference guide. For language arts, she will also be finishing her analogies book. This is really a fun book to do. It's grade level 6, but I will have her finish it just because it's kind of enjoyable. And we did recently start a poetry comprehension. This is a really great book. And she'll be finishing this probably over the summer. We start our school year June 1st. So some things do kind of go year to year, and she'll be finishing her vocabulary book. That's a 6th to 8th grade book before we move on to the next one. So for math, it's a similar thing. We have the Everything You Need to Know book, really used just for a reference guide for math. It's not like it's a book you're going to read, but it does have sample problems and questions and answers and things in there as well. And we will be starting the 8th grade Spectrum math probably toward the end of the summer. She'll be finishing the 7th grade level over the summer. And then we have the critical thinking, which does cover some additional areas. And just in case she needs extra practice, as I did with geometry, we went ahead and got an extra geometry book just in case. Algebra doesn't seem so bad. Geometry, ugh, it's a little rough. And then, let's see, we will move on to science. So for science, again, these Everything You Need to Know books, they are middle school, so they're kind of a 6th through 8th grade. So she's already read part of this, which is fine. So she'll continue to read what she hasn't read yet this year. That'll go along with what we're doing. So this year she didn't do as much science written as normal. So she's going to do the 7th grade science book, which covers Earth, Life, and Applied Sciences. And then she'll also do physical science. And again, this is grade 5 through 12. So these books, you don't have to finish in 1 year. You can kind of spread these out a little bit. And biology. And again, that's 6 through 12. So they really range a lot. You might not do it all in 1 year, which is great. And just spread it out, use what you need at the time. We do a lot of labs and dissections and stuff at the Tampa Bay Watch. If you watch my page, Gulfside Art and Science Academy on Facebook, I do book a lot of those classes. You're welcome to attend. So this year we are doing American history. The last 2 years we did world history and mythology. And we did it for 2 years simply because Sedona really enjoyed it. And that's the beautiful thing about homeschooling. You can do it how you want to do it. It doesn't matter necessarily which year they do certain things in and how long they do it. You follow the student's interest, and that's what we did. But this year we do need to move on, and we're going to move on to American history. Just so you know, we did do Florida history, I believe in 4th or 5th grade. So here again, we have the Everything You Need to Know book. For her world history one, she really read almost the whole book. It does have some summary questions at the end of every chapter. They're really a nice, easy read. They go along well with a lot of the workbooks that we buy. They're not sold together or made by the same company, but they do go along well. So you can mix and match the chapters together with them. So we have that as our secondary guide, along with the government book, because we definitely need U.S. government in 8th grade. And the Constitution. Who remembers the Constitution test? Well, we're not required to do that. And I think the U.S. one is actually done in junior year, but we need to start learning about it, right? So there is the U.S. Constitution. And then here we have some books from 1607 to 1865. So that's early American history. And then we have more current American history, 1865 to the present. Now, there are several other versions of these books. These are Mark Twain Media, which we really like. There's several different, I think there is a Civil War one and a Depression one. There's a bunch of different versions you can get. So we may add some in January or later. It just depends what additional supplements we need. Again, like this one says 5th through 8th. Can't even read what year that says. But they all range in age range. Oh, here, middle to upper grades. Middle and upper grades. So, again, they all have different kind of grade levels, and you do what you want according to your children's abilities. Whether they're ahead or they're behind or they're right on track, you pick the books, you decide. So with history, we do have a lot of who was books that we're going to add into the mix. So we have the Declaration of Independence again, and the Constitution. We also have the Great Depression, so maybe we don't need that workbook. We just have a book about it there. Pearl Harbor, here's the Lewis and Clark expedition. Ellis Island, which is particularly interesting because we do have family that came in there. And then some people books, the Wright brothers, Abraham Lincoln, Graham Bell, things like that. We are going to the Holocaust Museum in Florida soon, so I'm going to throw the Holocaust into the mix, as well as Anne Frank, since we're going to that museum, and it is part of the most recent World War. Okay, for health, we've already covered The Care and Keeping of You, but this is a book we keep on hand just in case she wants to review it. And this is what we use for a lot of our human body information. This is a fabulous book. And it's got all sorts of wonderful pictures and diagrams of how the human body works, every body system. So we use this kind of as needed. And we do a mix of health and PE. So this year we are officially starting Spanish. Super excited about that. I and my husband both took Spanish in high school and college, so this is fun for us because we can participate a lot more in it. So this is just a small book, and this is a 6th through 8th grade. And this is a middle and high school Spanish 1 book. This one does also have a Spanish 2, I believe. Or maybe it's that one that has a Spanish 2. I can't remember now. But these are great. They do cover vocabulary and sentence structure and conjugating, basic phrases and things that you need to know to get along. All right, here's where it gets kind of fun. We do not use any textbooks. We use real books. So this is a stack of a lot of the books that we might use this year. We have more. We have lots of them. But these books are going to go along with some things that we're doing this year. So one thing we'll probably start maybe in January is world religions. And there's another book or two that I'll probably get to go with this. But world religions was one of my absolute favorite classes in Catholic high school. So I can't wait to teach her about that. And she's very interested in all the religions. And then we have the science book. This is a Nat Geo. Again, this is a great reference material to whatever they're studying. So these books last, I say, a lifetime because they're beautiful books. You can use them for all your kids. You can use them for many different subjects, areas, obviously within science. But everything that you're studying, you can check out there. And then here, this is the same, the Big Ideas book, similar to the religion one. This is the history one. So this again it'll have some information about what we're studying this year. Probably not a whole lot because we're not doing world history this year. But it probably have a little bit of the American history in there. And again, this is science year by year. And the really neat thing about this is it goes chronologically. So everything is going to be in order of which it happened. So again, when we're talking about something in our science workbooks or main book, we'll be able to reference some pictures and tidbits of information in here. And they're just really fun books to look at. We also have the history year by year. And it's the same concept, chronological order. So again, everything that we're going to be talking about this year is going to be towards the end because we're talking about colonization and things like that here in the United States. So earlier this year, we might have done some from the back of the book that was more world history. This is another really amazing one. It's a big, heavy book. National Geographic. The history of the world, and this is a visual history. This is just beautiful. All sorts of pictures. And if you're doing world history, you'll enjoy this because this is going to show lots of artifacts and art and different things from back in time, as well as some of the more current stuff. Really beautiful book to look at. Obviously, we like history a lot. This is Sedona's favorite subject, so we have a lot of history books. And like I said, this is not all. History of the World in 1,000 Objects. Again, these are Smithsonian books. Smithsonian books are one of my favorites. But this is just amazing. So you can see all the different objects, and it talks about the timelines of them and where they came from and how they're found, and oh, it's beautiful. Just beautiful books. Quite amazing. And again, these are books you could keep on your coffee table. They're so nice. Use them from year to year, kid to kid. Science encyclopedia, again, this is something you're just going to pull out as needed, right? So here, fueling your body and nutrition. Well, that goes along with that human body and health information, right? So there's all that. There's all sorts of different science information in here. So you can learn about whatever subject you happen to be studying at the time. So again, you can definitely use these books year to year. And so they're worth the money, definitely worth the money. So that is it for the books that we're using this year for 7th grade or 8th grade, depending on your child. One more thing that I do, and I'm posting this in the pictures at the end of the video, I do have Sedona fill out her subjects each day. So she chooses some things and then I will assign others. She always has to do English and math and some sort of reading and history or science, as well as 3 other subjects at least. So next year, starting June 1st, she'll be doing English, math, science, history, and Spanish, and then she'll have a choice of 1 other subject. Or maybe I'll do Spanish 2 or 3 days a week and science and history 2 or 3 days a week. We'll just see how it goes. So again, she fills it out herself. So she follows along, puts the page numbers of what she did, and I go ahead and check it at the end of the day. Sometimes the end of the week, yeah. Depends on the day. Math I check daily for sure. I hope you learned more about piecing together curriculum for your middle schooler today. If you'd like, go ahead and subscribe to my page, my YouTube channel. I am always posting awesome videos of field trips and learning experiences, classes, and such. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook at Gulfside Art and Science Academy, and you're local within Florida, I do field trips throughout the state. So you are welcome to attend anything that you'd like to. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.